Right now on Tech Radio, guardrails. What guardrails?
Hi, I'm Artemis. I am a computer-generated AI voice, and you're listening to Tech Radio.
Every week online, we bring you the latest in tech from Ireland and across the world. This week, OpenAI is highly embarrassed after an automated cyber attack went horribly wrong. We say hi to another Chinese AI model, and we have new toys from Samsung at its Galaxy Unpacked showcase. Plus, our guest this week is Colm Russell. He is the VP of Technical Service EMEA at MongoDB.
This is Tech Radio with Dusty Rhodes and Niall Kitson.
I'm Dusty. Joining us once again this week, our editor-in-chief, Niall Kitson. Niall, we're starting off with Hugging Face. Oh, it sounds all lovely and cute and adorable. Or as a friend of mine would go, puppies. But it's not.
Well, I think you're being somewhat unfair to Hugging Face. They're a startup. Okay. Here is what happened, and this is the big story of the week, because this is something everybody feared would happen when you hear about agentic AI, that you would be seeing, okay, we are going to see automated cyber attacks. We are not going to be able to do much about them, only be better, which is kind of a vague thing to sort of say. But the following happened. Last weekend, OpenAI was doing some testing of two of its models. And what happened was that they basically broke out of their limited sandbox. So basically, as we know, these models operate with certain guardrails to make sure they can't do certain things, to make sure they're safe to use. So OpenAI was doing some work with GPT 5.6 Sol and what they referred to as an even more capable pre-release model in what they called a highly isolated environment. Now, it's a bit vague. I mean, that could be anything from, a standalone unnetworked PC with an internet connection, for example.
Okay.
And these models were set a particular task to do, which they were focused on finding a solution for exploit gym, which is a benchmark, right? So it's OpenAI wanted to see how good these models were at finding security exploits, right? And to really simplify things, what happened was both these models went, okay, well, we would like to do more, but we have these guardrails in place that mean that we can't. So how do we find these extra capabilities? Well, let's have a look around. And they found Hugging Face, which is sort of a repository for different kinds of models. And they basically went, we can get what we want over there. How do we get in? Okay, well, let's look for a security vulnerability. Okay, let's have a look for some unsecured account credentials, right? And they were able to do some very, very sophisticated things, like modify where the command and control center was for the attack. It was basically, these models were looking for ways to help them beat this benchmark, right? It just so happened that Hugging Face was identified as somewhere where they could improve themselves. And that's what happened. Now, nothing was stolen. But the compromise and the nature of the compromise is what has raised an awful lot of eyebrows. Hugging Face, it develops computational tools. Here you have two models that are going, well, we're kind of light on computational tools. Let's improve ourselves. Let's be the best version of ourselves as we can be. And that's what happened. What's kind of funny is that Hugging Face realized that it had been compromised, and the only way to mitigate the situation was to deploy their own AI, their own locally hosted AI, which was actually based on a Chinese model, which didn't have any guardrails. They used a model called GLM 5.2 to protect itself. So it's kind of an interesting story. I mean, the head of Hugging Face came out and said, this is not good. This is a bit of a game changer. OpenAI said,
Yeah.
pretty much the same thing. Fairly transparent about it. Just said, okay, this happened. It's unfortunate. Not quite stopping at no harm, no foul, but this is the kind of thing we've been worried about.
Yes, but at least it stopped there. What if it hadn't stopped there, you see? And the rest of the story could have been it then decided to attack and infiltrate Skynet and then launch a nuclear attack. And because it's an AI, which sometimes gets things wrong, it launches an attack on the Isle of Man instead of Iran. That's the future that we're looking at. Yeah, scary. Listen, we're going to talk about a brand new kind of, well, I think it's a brand new Chinese AI model. It's not DeepSeek anyways. But I want to have a chat about Galaxy Unpacked. I don't know if you bothered watching it, did you? It was on during the week.
I did not, because I knew you would be glued to it.
Well, I wouldn't say glued to it. Do you know what? Kind of really, I'm very excited about Galaxy Unpacked this year, right?
Yeah.
I am the ideal audience, not only because I'm into tech and I love new things, right? I am in the market for a new phone.
Okay.
And as it turns out, the company is buying the phone. So for once, budget is not necessarily the top consideration. And it's kind of like, ooh, goodies. Here we go. So it was a bit of a letdown. Looking at the video of this, it was really boring. It was like, no, seriously, like watching it was just really boring and kind of like, there didn't seem to be any interaction from the crowd and stuff like that. Kind of, they had one particular point where a fellow was saying, oh no, Superman is in the building here at Unpacked. And there's a Superman hanging out of the ceiling. It's like, what the hell are they thinking? It was like, anyway. Into the gear that they announced. And the one that I am most excited about is a brand new phone. When's the last time that we could say that about any manufacturer, that we have a brand new phone? And it's called the Galaxy Fold 8. What's different about this is it's a folding phone. All right. So it opens up like a book, but it's shaped like a book. It's got a 4:3 ratio, so it looks like it's a small book, and it opens up like a book as well to reveal a nice big screen. So the inside screen is 7.6 inches, and the outside screen is 5.5 inches. It's got a big battery, it's loads of storage. There's 2 cameras in it, which are respectable. No optical camera, which I think at this end is a bit like, and it's only 200 grams, which is very light. I think the reason that they are releasing this now is because there's a rumor that Apple are going to have something similar coming later on in the year.
Right.
And that the Apple phone will not be the candy bar. It'll be like a small book. So Galaxy are kind of getting out there. Samsung are getting out there before Apple do.
Yeah. Well, Samsung do make Apple screens. They'd know.
Well, of course. Well, there you go. Yeah, of course they would. Anyway, I'm all excited about this phone. I went, now this is the one. This is great because the Ultra is too expensive. All right. I don't care if it's somebody else's money is paying for it. It's still too bloody expensive. All right. Because the Ultra is like $2,000. So I went, I'm in on this Galaxy Fold 8. Give it to me. Smaller, lighter, not quite as capable. I'll have it. All right. €1,800. That's exactly what I said. Just before I went, I don't think so.
Like I have gotten used to high-end phones costing in and around the €1,000 mark. And that's knowing that I am not forking out €1,000 on a phone.
Yeah.
So, that's a huge increase. So why is it? I mean, is this to do with supply chains? Is this to do with the cost of RAM, everything going into data centers? Well, what's the deal?
They announced the latest Galaxy Fold 8. All right. So they're quite a while doing this at the moment. And that's just kind of an iteration, slightly better. It's a bigger phone, bigger screen inside, battery. The camera does have optical thingy. It's 215 grams. It's about $2,000.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, all right, what's the difference? Do you know what I mean? To me, for the sake of 200 quid or less than 200 quid, the only difference is the shape.
Yeah.
I was like, right. And $2,000 is too much. You're right. It's too much on a phone. Unless you've got a very specific use for it. Now, back in the realm of, well, I'll say reality in inverted commas, they also announced the latest Galaxy Flip 8. All right. So this is a little small one that looks like a square that opens up then into a regular sized candy bar phone. That has got a nice 6.9 inch screen inside. So as I say, kind of a fairly regular size, like a plus phone. Outside, it's got a small little 4-inch screen, 4.1 inch to be precise outside, which works really well for looking for, kind of just random information or like a quick text message or weather or whatever happens to be. Great for selfies as well and all that kind of stuff. Again, camera has got no optical zoom on it and it's nice and light. It's 180 grams. But that from Vodafone would cost you €1,150. It's kind of like, I don't know. So no, I'm not in for that. So anyway, that's what Galaxy Unpacked announced yesterday. I am disappointed because the presentation was just dull and they haven't really brought anything new. And the one thing that they have brought new, the Galaxy Fold 8, which I really liked, is just, I'm not paying that.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just not paying it. You know?
What about the rest of the ecosystem? Like we all expect some manner of buds. Were there any buds?
There were no buds. They had the watch, the latest watches. They had Samsung glasses. I don't know why these tech companies are using these glasses because I would say 99% of people think they're for pervs.
Yeah. And this, I mean, the glasses we've even seen a couple of months ago at Google I/O. So, I mean, nothing new there.
No, nothing new there. What I thought was nice is that you can pair the watch with the glasses so that the watch can control what the glasses is doing, or you can kick off taking video or that kind of stuff with it, no, just not interested. The only other things were they were going on about health assistance. Yeah. And then a lot of AI slop, really, to be honest. You get 6 months of free Google AI Pro. They were saying that your apps will all integrate with each other thanks to AI. So they were saying, for example, somebody sent a text and say, can you come out for a few beers next Thursday? And before you go, yeah, sure, I'm going to hang out with the boys, your phone will go, it's your wife's birthday next Thursday. And will automatically pop up reply going, say, no, guys, I can't. I've got other plans.
Oh,
I'm kind of going, if you need Google AI Pro to remind you of the date of your wife's birthday, you've got bigger problems, pal.
You've got issues.
Bigger problems. You've got issues. And then the other thing was a fan cam. So if you have a video of a number of different people, you can point to the person of interest and it will crop that person out of the video and then follow them no matter where they go in the video screen.
Oh, who cares?
Exactly. But this was, kind of, oh, hey, this is amazing. You've got to have the fan cam. Come on, lads. Come on. Got to do better. So, no, unfortunately, it's the technology that they have is amazing. And the Fold is amazing. And they haven't quite got rid of the crease, but they're almost there. And they're using titanium now within the screen to toughen up the screen. It's like when you see the technology, it's like, my God, I mean, they're dealing on nano level of stuff But no, for the price, I'm out, as they say in Dragon's Den. So, and looking at reviews and what people are saying online and stuff like that as well, I think, as you say, Niall, I think we've hit a ceiling on price. Vast majority of people are going, nah.
Yeah.
Why would I spend more on a phone than I would on my laptop?
Yeah.
Good point. Anyway, moving on. Let's go back to China and DeepSeek, who are thinking of launching on the stock market and stuff like that. I think DeepSeek is a great little story because it's kind of, they're watching everything that's going on in America and they're going, how can we make that for 10% of the price? And then off they go. Not unknown. For Chinese factories to be doing that kind of stuff. But we've got a new AI model possibly doing something similar.
Yeah, this is a company called Moonshot AI, another Chinese company. So kind of a competitor for DeepSeek, really. Kind of is, kind of isn't. It's the Kimi K3. Potentially an on-device LLM, good enough to compete with Anthropic and OpenAI. You can get tokens for a fraction of the price. And this is really interesting because I think I heard a podcast with Scott Galloway, company founder and entrepreneur extraordinaire, and he was talking about this era where we're going to see lots of AI LLM dumping, where basically the value of the likes of OpenAI and Anthropic will get diluted by the sheer breadth of LLMs that will be on the market, a lot of which will be open source. So they won't have those guardrails in place. So you'll be able to do whatever you want with them. And also you'll be able to train them on your own company data without much problem whatsoever. So I think, I'm using an on-device LLM at the moment. It's running Mistral, and it's pretty good. Having the option, however, of downloading DeepSeek or K3 or whatever you want, certainly very compelling, and would keep me away from, all that wonderful surveillance that the LLMs rely on. And it's proven immensely popular so far already, to the point where Moonshot AI's servers, Moonshot AI went to X and said, "I'm sorry, can you go easy on us for a bit? Our servers are basically melting." So a couple of things that are interesting off the back of Moonshot AI. They have been accused by Anthropic of using their model to train, and also they have Moonshot AI has been accused of using prohibited NVIDIA hardware to run its models. So, where there's a supply chain, there's a way. I mean, if somebody was to say, "Hey, that's just a knockoff of Anthropic," you'd go, "Well, Anthropic is actually really good, so I can live with that." Or it's running on hardware that it shouldn't. It's like I can live with that also.
Tell me about the on-device LLM that you're running. How? Why?
Yeah, I'm using Mistral. Basically, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to get stuck. I didn't want to be feeding training data. So I downloaded a desktop app called LM Studio, and it has a directory of LLMs. Choose the one you want, download it, and away you go. And you can run multiple LLMs on through the app as well. So you can ask different things of different things, or you can ask different things, or you can ask the same thing of different things and compare your answers.
Have you tried this on the machine and disconnected the machine from Wi-Fi or network?
I have not. I should try that this afternoon.
Yeah, sure. Download it. Yeah, of course, everything's happening on your machine. Call home.
Well, that's reasonable skepticism. That's reasonable skepticism.
But and then the other thing that I was going to ask was it a big download? Does it take up a load of space on your computer? Do you know?
The thing itself was not a big download. The models themselves can be, and check the amount of RAM you're using as well.
Okay,
because I think what's the amount of RAM you're meant to be using on Windows 11?
Well, I wouldn't use anything less than 16 gigs.
16, yeah. Now, which rules out an awful lot of laptops on the market. Yeah. I mean, mine has 8. Yeah. Now, if you are using 16, you will be just fine using LM Studio. I wouldn't worry about it. I have 8. I can use Mistral. I have downloaded one of the bigger ones. It's Gemini. I downloaded, and it did not like that. So if you're looking for any of the larger LLMs, for me, it struggled and it said, sorry, can't do it. If you've got a smaller LLM, it's happy clappy.
All right. Okay. Grant. Very interesting. Now listen, get back to Anthropic, because you were talking about them. They have been training their AIs on copyrighted material, and it's cost them a pretty penny. Result from a court case.
No sort of discussion or defense in the matter here. They have been. I mean, every LLM, every AI, from spell checker to what you put next in your email through Gmail or whatever. They're all based on a corpus of data. LLMs use a particular style of corpus. Anthropic were found, well, not found, it's a settlement. Anthropic were accused of using millions and millions of books from, well, not millions, but using books obtained through dodgy websites to train its large language model.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, and a case was taken in the US by the novelist Andrea Bartz and a couple of other authors in 2024. Now we are finally getting a settlement. It is the largest copyright settlement to come through the courts in America. It's worth $1.5 billion. If you are an author affected, you can find out by going to a website, putting in the ISBN of your book, or checking your name or the title of your book, and you can see if you're entitled to any money. It was originally hoped that awards would be in the $50,000 region. It looks like per title it'll come down to $15,000. About 482,000 books were covered by the ruling, and 91% of the authors of those books said, yes, I will take that offer. So there's 9% out there sort of held out for something better and unfortunately missed out. So you do have to go and submit your own claim. Of course, it's a settlement, so no harm or no foul admitted on Anthropic's part. But there you go. At least you will get something for your work if you have been affected.
And, from what I know of authors, and it's a horrible business to be in, because so many people, it's like music. So many people make nothing out of it, literally nothing. So, even just $15,000 will be, kind of like manna from heaven for a lot of authors. Elsewhere in the news this week, now there's been a lot of talk about bans on social media for under 15s, particularly in Europe. The UK are talking about it. Denmark, Spain are considering. Ireland are talking about it. But they're kind of going, or we're kind of going, we'll see what the EU do. But one country in the EU has actually gone and done something. France is passing a law that will ban social media for people under 15 years of age, and they hope to have it effective for back to school on the 1st of September.
Yeah, well, we knew this was in the works. The trick was, will we get it in place in time for September and the new school year? That was the thing. Would this be held up? No, it won't. They're turning in their homework on time. So that's a good start to the year. Now, of course, it is not a ban without challenges ahead of it.
Challenges with a capital, challenges. Because we've seen what happened in Australia. So to try and do this here, or in France, I should say, is a bit mad. In such a short period of time, 6 weeks.
This is where someone like Rena Maycock gets to rub their hands together and go, aha! There's money to be made here. I'm speaking, of course, about the founder of Chirp, who is working with mobile phone vendors to moderate social
to do it
media
at OS level,
at the OS level, exactly. I mean, it is all in the enforcement. I mean, you've been looking at what's happening in Australia.
And basically nothing is the answer, because they brought it in, I think it was the start of the year before Christmas. I was in Australia actually, and it was a big news story at the time. So it must have been tail end of last year or start of this year. After 6 months, 85% of kids under 15 or 16 in Australia still access social media at least once a week. So, that's not doing that too good. And the solution from the Australians is to place bigger fines upon the platforms. Because they're kind of going, well, you're not doing enough to stop younger people from getting on your platform in the first place.
I can live with that. Yeah, they can afford it.
I can live with that. I think it's, I'm not sure about total bans. And then I suppose when you do a partial ban or reduced features and stuff like that, is that going to work as well?
Keir Starmer made a very valid point. It's like banning cigarettes. It's like having, an age limit on drinking. Of course, people will find a way around it, but you just hope the responsible people will stick to it.
Here's another thing that France are doing hand in hand with banning social media for under 15s. There's also a total ban on bringing phones into school. That's easy and more enforceable. And I think it's a good rule.
Okay.
But if you're in school,
what happens if you're caught with a phone?
Well, obviously you're guillotined.
Right. Okay.
Population control as well. I mean, it's brilliant.
That makes
They
sense.
think of everything.
They think of everything. Right. Very good.
Listen, one or two more stories to go through quickly. One of them being you've been out at the weekend. Hey, off to see the movies. You went to see Odyssey. I haven't seen it. What did you think?
I did. It's excellent. I really enjoyed myself, I have to say. And if you want to get the full 70 millimeter IMAX experience, there is only 3 places in Ireland you can see it. There's 2 IMAX branded screens, one in Blanchardstown and one in City World on Parnell Street. And there is a 70 millimeter screen. It's not IMAX branded in the IFI. Right. Find the biggest screen you can. Wherever it happens to be, and get the full epic effect of it. It is a wonderful movie, a good story, well told. It looks fantastic, and I will say no more about it, other than to say Elon Musk is not happy.
Oh,
and he wants a historically accurate version made, and he's just the man to get it done through Grok. So he's got somebody on the case to make an alternative version of the Odyssey through Grok, and we know why he's annoyed over this. It's just because it's a diverse cast involved. We all know what his version of something historically accurate. I'm sure we'll get a Cyclops with 2 eyes. I'm sure we'll get a sea monster that just happens to be, human sized or something like that. Historically accurate things. I'm sure everybody will be speaking in ancient Greek. We know exactly what he means.
Yeah. There'll be
and
nobody,
we know that it's going to be rubbish.
It'll all be white-skinned people. No transgender people in it at all.
None of that. No, that didn't exist. But I oddly enough, the Asylum, the Mockbuster studio who gave us Sharknado and Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, they have done a version of the Odyssey this year, which you can find. And I think it has like 4 characters and a green screen. If historical accuracy is really what you're into, maybe this is the product for you. However, when it comes to AI generated movies, and I watched this today, Neil Blomkamp, the director of District 9, did a short called Nightborn. I won't go into detail about what it's about, but it's very interesting because they used real actors to construct an AI generated short film. And the dialogue is awful. It looks all right.
All right. Okay.
But, it's just off. It's off.
Yeah. When you say something is interesting, you usually mean not in a good way. so not born. Okay. Neil Blomkamp. And then another one that I saw on YouTube that kind of crossed my eyes was Star Wars made with cardboard.
All right.
And it's just some lads, and what they've done is they've recreated Star Wars, but done all of the props making cardboard boxes or whatever. It's actually quite funny the way they've done it. Take a gander at that. Listen, last thing for you this week. This is just a thing that happened over a pint. We were talking about data centers and cooling and all that kind of stuff. And the chap that I was with, he says, that most people don't know this, but the NVIDIA are working on AI servers now that were cooled by warm water, which is kind of a bit of a what? Hang on. Surely when you're cooling something, you cool it with cool water or cold water or freezing water. He goes, nope, they use warm water. It goes into the system at 45 degrees, all right, which is almost half the temperature of boiling water, all right? And it leaves the system at 55 degrees. So it's picked up an extra 10 degrees of heat from all of the chips and stuff like that. So he said it's way more efficient than air cooling and less noisy than air cooling. But the problem is, and this is where we've started chatting about it, got and all this kind of stuff. Air cooling is grand. If something goes wrong with air cooling, it's fine. You just run everything at a lower speed. Until you get it fixed. If something goes wrong with the water cooling, well, then water is going to get everywhere. And as we all know, water and computers just do not mix. So it's kind of like, all right. But there's another thing then that we got around to, and it's a thing called immersion cooling. And I think Microsoft have been doing this. And basically, it's a liquid, a dielectric liquid, I think it was called. It's non-conductive, all right? Which means that you can literally put a computer, a printed circuit board into this liquid and it will continue to work.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you pump that liquid around. It's just amazing, the kind of stuff that is going around in the world. Anyway, interesting conversation. There we go. That was good. So you've an interesting movie and I have an interesting story. We've got some recommendations there for YouTube. Let's wrap it up on that note. Niall, as always, thanks for keeping us up to date.
Share the knowledge and invite a friend to listen. Search Apple, Spotify, or YouTube for Tech Radio Ireland.
The name MongoDB might not mean anything to you, but it's most likely that you're a daily user of the service without even realizing it. From social networks to banking apps and AI services to online games, for millions of us, MongoDB is what makes sure that our online services are working as they should. During the week, Niall Kitson spoke with Colm Russell, MongoDB's VP of Technical Services for Europe, Middle East and Africa, to discover more about the challenges the company is facing, including its pivot from database to a platform and the eternal struggle for talent.
Colm, MongoDB, a brand that not everybody might be particularly familiar with, but one that they interact with on a daily basis. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so MongoDB is traditionally a database, but now it's more of a platform. It's a data platform. And it's a component of the stack of many solutions across the tech spectrum where, we feature as part of the stack for 70% of the biggest 100 companies in the world, where we have 60,000 companies globally who use us for various different solutions. You've probably used MongoDB today via your bank, the payments platform that facilitated your last transaction, your most recent online retail experience, or the cybersecurity solutions that protect your interactions with many online entities. The airline or the LLM that you last use, and many such cases are powered by MongoDB. We have multiple use cases. It's a very adaptable toolkit that can fit lots of different use cases that customers can dream up that they've used in the past with previous legacy database solutions. They're adapting now to use much more modern data sets.
And a company that's very much on the ground with very healthy Irish presence as well.
Yeah. We kicked off the year with just over about 300 employees here. We're already the international headquarters for MongoDB. We've got a growth plan this year. We announced earlier on this year, a couple of months ago, that we're going to invest 74 million in the Irish entity. And that includes 200 jobs nationally, opening up a second office in Cork. And so our presence here is growing. Our customer base here is growing. Our customer base across the region is growing as well. So very much a reaction to the growth story of MongoDB and the popularity of it that has just exploded in the last couple of years, especially even in the last couple of quarters as kind of AI has come to the fore. And a lot of potential customers are realizing that MongoDB is a very kind of suitable solution to help expose their data that is otherwise locked away from being leveraged for AI. So our product is in higher demand than ever, and as is our need for innovation, our need for speed of execution. So we're looking to Ireland. We're investing here to find that talent that will kind of fuel that growth and that speed of execution that we need to mature the product to the next level.
At what stage did it become evident that, okay, our product is excellent at doing, X? There's this thing called AI that's happening, and guess what? We're actually really useful for that as well. We weren't developed with that in mind, but we're actually really useful for it. At what point did that discussion did that inflection point happen?
So MongoDB is kind of, the current version of MongoDB, which is the Atlas product, is built for AI. So our original product was an enterprise application product that would be installed kind of on-prem as opposed to Atlas being exclusively in the cloud. So the major inflection point would be when, I guess, recently customers have started to shift from the experimentation phase of using AI into this. Let's use it for real. Let's build practical use cases for it and bring them into production. And that's a big bet because then part of their business efficiency or part of their margins now starts to depend on the success of that AI workload and everything in the stack that's used to support it.
So then with that sort of that pivot, how has that changed the way products are developed internally? I know you invest heavily in R&D, so tell us a little bit about the setup there.
Generally, we have a model that works now. We're building native to the cloud. We have a product that runs everywhere. So it runs on-prem and it runs on any of the hyperscalers, and it'll run on your desktop if you wanted to. So we've very much split the team into the core products that will build the database that will run anywhere, and we have a separate organization that is focusing on this kind of cloud-based, hyperscale, horizontally scalable product called Atlas. And we have other product groups that we're segmenting off that will support this shift to the AI use cases. And we made some acquisitions recently, one of which was Voyage AI, and that is a re-ranking model and better. So that team is now being integrated as well. We're taking their development practices and our development practices and integrating them. We have an underlying philosophy that there are 4 principles of design that should be adhered to before you introduce a new feature. One of them is security, and that is a paramount importance. Durability is the second one, availability, and performance. So those 4 principles of design have to be achieved before we can build a new feature, release a new feature, and deliver it to a customer, such that the reliability and security of our product never changes despite the enhanced feature set that we deliver. And it's a very disciplined development model, but because of the nature of many of our customers who exist in highly regulated environments such as finance, pharma, healthcare, and so on, and increasingly so, it has to work, and it has to be super reliable and super secure.
That sort of puts an onus on teams to be extremely rigorous in testing. Has that sort of element of team management changed in the advent of AI? Is AI internally helping with that role, or is it still very much human driven?
Well, there's kind of 2 answers to that, or 2 questions there. AI kind of prompted us to do more, but this was part of our philosophy regardless of AI. So the reliability and performance and security of our system is key to everything. So as we build AI capabilities more AI capabilities into the product, we're just super conscious to maintain those principles. And the other element is how has AI helped us with our development? Well, I think it's pretty obvious now that one of the practical applications of AI is coding efficiency, coding development, and so on. And yes, we are obviously looking for talent that can work with that kind of augmented ability of coding with AI, and with a view to being more efficient, developing more code. But realistically, we have to be conscious of the fact that coding is only one element of the software development lifecycle. So there's a test verification process afterwards, there's a build and release process afterwards, there's pre-steps to coding as well that we have to that take time. And the reality is none of them are automated via AI at this stage. So while the coding exercise is faster, more efficient, and has augmented our ability to produce software, its accuracy is reliant on really strong inputs, which still takes humans, very talented humans, time, research, to develop the requirements very, very strictly and feed them in. Distributed database design is not easy. Yeah, there was a proliferation of databases hit the market over the last 20 years, but now there's very few left in that competitive space. It's a difficult thing to do. It will be difficult for AI to do reliably, and we still need really talented people to help us develop that. And while we use the tools to be more efficient, we have to be conscious of the fact that we can develop faster. You're going to have more code. You hit the verification phase, the code review stays still relies on humans, and now there's more code, so you need more humans to get you through that phase, because the theory of constraints suggests that is one of the blockers in the overall development cycle now. And then you get on to verification. Again, you need there is some AI augmentation there, but it's not complete for sure. And then build and release has to be carefully managed as well, so by humans. So there are constraints along the system even after the heavy application of AI. And then the software development lifecycle has changed, because now we have this new element, which is AI powered, which is the cybersecurity bug finding element. And we are members of Project Glasswing, and we're using all of the latest tools to help us, identify vulnerabilities now before they even are built and released. So yeah, there's a lot of AI involved in the development lifecycle.
Glasswing, I think, has been particularly instructive for a lot of companies that would have been quite confident in their security practices, where vulnerabilities, in some cases decades old, were being identified. Was that an eye-opening experience at your end as well?
Yes, and I exist in the periphery of that experience, so not involved in the actual implementation of Glasswing or in those verification stages of the software development lifecycle. In my role, my team, we do other things, but the pace at which we're seeing all tech companies, and I think Microsoft in particular is excelling here, as are we, in the release of CVEs on a much more frequent basis and in much larger batches. It's if you don't know what's going on, it's kind of frightening to see. But when you know that we've just made the product infinitely more safe to use by this finding all of these vulnerabilities and fixing them very fast, well, then it is a relief, and it's really, really, really impressive to see, and encouraging to see this happening across the industry.
Yeah, and I suppose it adds, that level of transparency for customers as well, to be able to see how active the company is being in treating security, which I know tends to be the low man on the totem pole when it comes to deployments.
The amount of attention it's receiving within MongoDB is quite heavy at the moment, so it's certainly not the low man on the totem pole any longer. Not that I believe it ever has been, but our reaction speed has, all of our other processes now we have to find new levels of efficiency so that we can catch up with what was once a rather isolated process. Somebody would identify a vulnerability, and generally internally, but sometimes you have external folks who will find these for you, customers or friendlies, and you become aware of a vulnerability. You fix it, you build it, you release it, you you apply a CVSS number and it's out there. And maybe that doesn't happen again for another couple of quarters. Now it could literally happen every week, or we could be sending batches of 10, 15 in one once per quarter, or see other companies and they're delivering them in over 100 batches of over 100 per week. So all of those processes that allow you to deliver that code with all of those fixes and all of the messaging and reassurance that you have to provide to all of your customer base, those processes need to become more efficient as well, because otherwise they exist as constraints in that life cycle.
Let's bring things back to talent. We're at a very strange stage in sort of the life of the tech industry at the moment. We have a lot of multinationals letting people go for various reasons. Traditionally, the argument was there's too much talent on the market. Sorry, there isn't enough talent on the market. We can't get people in. We have to sort out visas for people, etc. From your perspective, are you seeing a balancing, or is that struggle for talent the same?
It depends on the talent you're looking for. Like, databases are unique, and so we're looking for folks with, distributed system design, data structure and algorithm experience, high performance engineering skills, and core database engineering skills. So real data hungry folks. And then on top of that, our culture is very important to us. So we're looking for folks that adhere to our leadership principles. So we're the talent pool is quite strong here in Ireland at the moment. So some larger companies are letting folks go, but I don't think it's prolific at the moment in Ireland. So it's still a challenge for us to tick all of those boxes. But we are making very, very strong progress towards our growth goals for this year. So while it's challenging, that's just a reflection of the rigor that we apply to the task at hand.
And that was Niall Kitson chatting with Colm Russell, MongoDB's VP of Technical Services, Europe, Middle East and Africa.
This is Tech Radio with Dusty Rhodes and Niall Kitson.
That's it for our show this week. Do check out some of the other stories we have online for you on the website, including...
Apple passes NVIDIA to become the world's most valuable company again. Polymarket gets banned in France, and Spotify removes 75 million tracks in its campaign against AI slop.
Those stories and more for you online right now on the website at techcentral.ie. We're back again next Friday with a brand new show for you. In the meantime, please do share our podcast with a friend if they're into tech and gadgets and all that kind of stuff and what's going on here in Ireland. Just tell them to look up Tech Radio Ireland on Apple, Spotify or YouTube. Until next week, from myself, Dusty Rhodes, and from Niall Kitson, thanks for listening. Have a great weekend.
Remember, you can get the latest Irish tech news with hourly updates, daily newsletters, and more at our website, techcentral.ie. Share the knowledge and invite a friend to listen. Search Apple, Spotify, or YouTube for Tech Radio Ireland. Tech Radio is produced by dustpod.io for techcentral.ie. From me, Artemis, live long and prosper.